There's a wide range of positions available in banking. There's in the branches, customer service positions, your tellers and your managers and your people that open accounts and work with people on loans. Behind the scenes, you've got accountants, you've got data processing operators, you've got people that review the lending work that other people do, you've got secretarial, administrative assistants. There's a wide range of office type positions in a bank. There are a common set of skills that I think everybody needs to have. Basic mathematical skills. We don't get too much into higher level, algebra and calculus, but, ability to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Pretty good reading skills, written communication skills. Some of the positions require more writing than others, but banking is a heavily regulated industry. It's a heavily policy-driven industry. And so we have a range of policies that everybody has to be familiar with. Therefore, they have to be able to read and comprehend, certainly at a high school graduate level. When we're looking for a certain level of reading ability, of reading comprehension, and it's just a rough guideline, but if you look at what the standards are, what the standards are supposed to be, to graduate from high school, because of the level of policies and procedures that are going to be in any bank, we're looking, in a rough sense, for people that can read and comprehend 7-letter words, that have a vocabulary that is commensurate with what we need in the positions. The minimum qualification for one of our banking positions is either a high school diploma or a GED. Now, some positions have higher level educational qualifications, but everything requires at least the high school diploma or the GED. And we've actually had great luck with GED graduates. We found them in general to be perhaps a little more motivated, maybe because they tend to be a little bit older on average. The entry-level pay in banking is certainly competitive to other entry-level positions. I think it's a bit higher than what you might find, for example, at a retail store. And over the long term, people can make a very, very good living. Salaries for bank branch managers, assistant managers, certainly are above the median salary ranges. Other benefits tend to include, fully or partially paid health insurance. Most of your banks have some sort of retirement program, primarily anymore the 401ks as opposed to traditional pensions. Banks are typically closed on all the federal holidays. You tend to get, average to better than average vacation time, 2, 3, 4 weeks, depending on how long you've been there. Certainly a lot of opportunities for training in other aspects of banking and financial matters. And just the general environment of working in a bank, it is an office type, an office/retail type environment. Physically it's a safe environment. You're not working around machinery or things of that nature. I guess people have gotten their fingers caught in a drawer before or something, but as opposed to perhaps some other occupations, you're in a heated and air-conditioned environment typically, and most people find it quite enjoyable. Working hours are very predictable. Pretty much all of our positions have, here's your schedule, here's your start time, here's your lunch time, here's your stop time. Folks that work in the branches, they rotate. They typically, in our bank, and it differs from bank to bank, they typically will work 2 Saturday mornings a month. But when they do, then they get an afternoon off during the week, because banks are open Saturday mornings to meet the needs of the public. There's really a wide range of things that those people are expected to do. They have to provide, excellent service to the customers. They have to be able to solve customer problems. They have to be able to follow all the policies and all the regulatory procedures. They have to present well and be able to communicate well. These are, again, customer contact types of positions. It takes a motivated person to do that. See, the guys that work on the commercial side, and it's largely the commercial lenders, they have the opportunity to learn about how a bunch of different industries work. If somebody comes to a bank for a commercial loan, basically what the banker's got to do, what the lender has to do, is get that business's financial information and try to understand what they do. There's a bunch of numbers on paper, but then the lender's making a decision to extend credit over a period of time based on, gee, is this guy in a good business, or is this person in a good business? Is this business going to be able to pay this back? And you can look at the financials and the numbers, but you've also got to have a feel for what the business is too. Most of our branch positions at the entry level don't require banking experience. We do look for some sort of money handling experience, and that can be as a cashier at the local store or any number of things. And the reason we look for that is we do, just from, if you look at it from a purely financial standpoint, there's a fair amount of responsibility that even goes at the entry level in the branches, because they're working at a drawer that has a fairly large amount of cash in it. And believe it or not, some people aren't comfortable with that. There are people out there that are just intimidated by dealing with that, although really they have the skills to deal with it, and it's not that difficult to deal with it. Sure, if someone's been involved in even as something like treasurer of a youth group or something, just the ability to count money and to sort it out and all that sort of thing is an important thing. Once we've posted a position, we'll review the applications. And in all honesty, if we've got 5 applications and one of them has bank teller experience and we happen to be looking for a teller, we'll probably call that person first. But let's say we don't. Let's say we've got just all, a mix of people that have the high school diploma or GED and have some other work experience, preferably cash handling. So we may pick 2 or 3 to come in and interview. And then the Human Resources Department will interview them, and whatever the hiring department or hiring branch, that manager will generally interview as well, and get it down to 1 or 2 candidates that seem to fit the bill the best. And then we go through a process at the entry level. There is an aptitude test, and it's developed by a banking trade association, and it measures mathematical skills and verbal abilities and reading comprehension, as well as some manual dexterity, because there's with cash counting and handling, there's a little bit of that goes along with it. Assuming somebody passes that screen, then we do, being a bank, we do a credit check, because we're dealing in finances and people's money, and we do a criminal background check, which is just good practice, and it also happens to be required by regulation. You make it through all those, screens and the drug test, and then a job offer is made. There's the standard, why did you apply for this job? What are your goals? What are you looking for, 4 and 5 years down the line? Tell us about how you've worked with customers and how you've solved customer problems. Basically, you just translate, what the job requirements are into, have you done this or have you done similar things and how have you handled it? Particularly when we're looking at the branch level where the customer contact is out there, and we're expecting people to, present well and be friendly and give good service and solve problems and, be able to solve problems with a smile on their face, all that, that comes through in the interview. And that's really what your interviewing process is all about. You can get several applications that look identical on paper. You can have 5 applications, but you have 5 completely different individuals, 5 completely different personalities. Now, the nice thing about banking, I mentioned earlier, there's the back office jobs, the operation jobs. There's a lot of folks out there that being in a branch isn't the right fit, but they do a wonderful job with the behind the scenes stuff. And there's branch people that wouldn't fit in the behind the scenes stuff, because that's more process oriented, that's more processing transactions, working on a computer, that sort of thing.